Welcome to the News Hour. A curfew in downtown Los Angeles remains in effect tonight, and hundreds of anti-ICE protesters have been arrested in Los Angeles and multiple cities this week. The National Guard also confirmed today it had temporarily detained civilians in LA and said more troops could be deployed with immigration agents. That's as they continue their pursuit of undocumented immigrants.
Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass and more than 24 other California mayors asked President Trump to end the sweeping immigration raids. But today, they continued in California, Pennsylvania, and Louisiana, among other places. In Chicago, Mayor Brandon Johnson called President Trump a tyrant and authoritarian. The president's team defended his approach and warned that Guard troops could be deployed to other cities. Special correspondent Marcia Biggs continues our coverage tonight with this report.
From Atlanta to New York City, where more than 80 people were arrested, and Chicago, where police clashed with demonstrators and several more were detained, to Texas, where police pinned protesters to the ground, and Governor Greg Abbott said he would deploy the National Guard ahead of a planned protest in San Antonio. Across the country, anti-ICE protesters gathered in the streets in solidarity with those in Los Angeles. Yesterday in LA, protesters continued marching against ongoing immigration raids. And the city's mayor, Karen Bass, declared a curfew for parts of downtown beginning at 8 p.m. Last night, California Governor Gavin Newsom again condemned the administration's decision to send in the National Guard and the Marines.
This brazen abuse of power by a sitting president inflamed a combustible situation, putting our people, our officers, and even our National Guard at risk. California may be first, but it clearly will not end here. Other states are next. Democracy is next. Democracy is under assault before our eyes. This moment we have feared has arrived.
And yesterday at Fort Bragg, President Trump claimed the protesters were paid insurrectionists.
These are animals, but they proudly carry the flags of other countries, but they don't carry the American flag. They only burn it. We will not allow an American city to be invaded and conquered by a foreign enemy, and that's what they are. A lot of those people were let in here by the Biden administration.
He vowed to keep the troops in LA, quote, until there's peace. Downtown LA vape and smoke shop owner Tony, who refused to give his last name, said he defended his business with pepper spray on Monday night after seeing looters breaking into neighboring stores.
I'm an immigrant myself. I'm from Lebanon. I'm half Armenian, and I've been here for 10 years, and I would never do something like that to another business. Destroying businesses and making us spend thousands of dollars boarding up businesses is not fair for us.
He supports having the National Guard on the streets to protect businesses.
Where the protests are happening, it is peaceful, like at the buildings and stuff like that, but usually like at night, late hours, people are starting to start looting. I don't know if they're with the protesters or they're just taking advantage of the chaos that it's creating.
But last night, the curfew and heavy police presence seemed to keep looters at bay across downtown. Lifelong Angelino Sarah Rascon says looting and violence are a small part of what's happened in recent days.
It's unfortunate that that's what's highly televised and that's not what's happening. 99% of us are here for peaceful protest and demonstration, and they taint the movement.
She says she's here to show support for the city's immigrants.
I am here for, all the abuelitas, all the people who are afraid, those that have been working for our communities, those who make up our economy, those who are doing the backbreaking work and can't be here.
In nearby Glendale, the city this week terminated a long-standing contract that allowed ICE to use its jail to temporarily hold undocumented immigrants.
Here we are in Glendale offering them much more than a cold basement. We're offering them a clean, safe place where they can collect their thoughts, take care of their affairs, speak to attorneys, be fed, be washed, clean up, and we're taking that away from them.
Ara Najarian is Glendale's mayor.
We clearly saw that we were on the target list, and that made us very uncomfortable. As the leaders of Glendale, our primary goal is to keep our residents safe, our businesses safe, our property safe. We felt that continuing to have that contract, even though we felt we were doing nothing wrong and we were being very humane in the process, would lead to the type of protests, the same type that we see in downtown LA, to come to Glendale.
Najarian says the decision was difficult. Immigrant rights advocates praised the move, but the Department of Homeland Security said Glendale was standing with, quote, criminal illegal aliens over American citizens.
I really take offense at the characterization that I stand with illegal aliens and criminals. I believe that we should enforce our immigration laws. I think when you're discussing these issues, they are very nuanced. It's not just black or white. We don't want to be an oppressive, authoritarian city. We have a city of 50% immigrants. My parents are immigrants. Most of my family are immigrants from Armenia. We've got a huge Armenian population here, Korean, Latino, Central American. We don't want to be the big bad guy, but we saw that we were giving an opportunity for respite along this process that now those detainees do not have.
Standing against tyranny.
Back in LA last night, thousands attended a vigil with faith leaders. Reverend Jamie Edwards Acton was in the crowd.
If you're a daughter or a son and your father was taken away, you're not just going to be grieving, you're going to be angry, right? You're going to be angry and you want justice, and so you're going to make that known. And so you're going to shout, you're going to scream, you're going to yell at people, but it's very few that take it beyond that, right? And so we're here to try to be to show that alternative, right? That nonviolent alternative.
The crowd then marched to the federal complex nearby, where the National Guard stood watch. Like in previous nights, there were some tense moments outside the federal complex here. Police had to block roads and even fired rubber bullets to disperse the crowd. The crowd eventually thinned. Protesters are back at it again today, but after a calmer night, there are some small signs of a return to normalcy, with crews even out trying to clean up the graffiti in the area. But all of this is happening as we hear reports today of more ICE raids in various parts of the city. Amna?
It's Marcia Biggs reporting for us from Los Angeles tonight once again. Marcia, thank you.